What is going on, guys? Welcome back to another post game here on Rangers Central, game 71, where the Rangers beat the Florida Panthers 4-3. A cardiac Rangers affair. Another game where Artemi Panarin shows his case as to why he could be a Hart Trophy candidate, which he won't be. I know that he won't be. I'm not going to even pretend for a second he's going to, but he's going to get votes because there are going to be writers that do recognize how much of an impact he makes for this hockey team. Because where would this team be without Artemi Panarin? I don't even know, nor do I want to know. But regardless, the Rangers get 2 huge points, and they put themselves in a spot now where they are in possession of first place in the entire league. And you guys know that I am desperate for this team to finish first place in the league because I want them to have home ice. And you see the impact in a game like this tonight as to why home ice is important, because that second line, if they don't have the matchups and teams put out their best shutdown lines against that second line, it's going to be a problem for the Rangers because they need to start getting more contributions from up and down the lineup. And the second line's their primary source of scoring. We know this. It's been that way the entire season. So home ice is crucial. And on top of that, the Garden was electric tonight all night long, even when they were down 2-0. Shout out to the fans that were in the crowd because they were on their feet and they were electric the entire freaking night. And I'm very happy with the way that the atmosphere was. Would love for that to be the case more games than not. But we're going to talk about everything. Before we do, leave a like here on the post-game show if you do enjoy it. Subscribe if you guys are new, especially if you're Ranger fans, and turn on your notifications so you know when I upload or go live next. And a little pregame note before we even talk about the game. Will Cooley was scratched going into this game. Did not love the decision. I get that you want to load manage a rookie who hasn't been through the grind of a full season before and is about to play playoff hockey, and who knows how deep they go. They don't want to put him on too much of a workload compared to what he's used to. I get that. I did not love this being the game because they could have used a guy like Will Cooley, and I get they got the 2 points they won, so in hindsight, doesn't really matter because they won, but I think his physicality against this Florida Panthers team would have been really nice to have. But again, that's neither here nor there because they won the game. So it really doesn't make a difference that he was scratched. And now he gets a couple days off, gets to go back in the lineup against Philly. And hopefully the Rangers could start to pull ahead more in the standings so they could actually start to rest guys down the stretch, because the playoffs start on April 22nd. The Rangers are going to have a week off between their last game and the playoffs, which is just beyond annoying if they even get to play on that Monday, because if not, then it's going to be 8 days off until the playoffs. It's a lot of rest right there. If they could get themselves in a spot where they could rest guys against Ottawa, rest guys against the Islanders, especially the Islanders who are going to want to play the Rangers tough because of the fact that they might be out of a spot by then, well out of a spot. You want to put yourself in a position to where you could rest guys in a game like that where it's going to get physical potentially, and you don't want players getting hurt in that game. It's just that simple. And I'm not saying anyone on the Islanders is going to intentionally try to injure someone on the Rangers, but it's going to be a physical game. It's Rangers Islanders. It is what it is. But talk about this game now. Definitely not an ideal start. The first period was not ideal at all. Just like the Boston game, they take a very early penalty. Gustafsson goes off for slashing. He had a very rough game in general. I hope that he's okay, and I don't wish an injury upon a player. So I hope that everything's fine with what happened at the end of the game, which we'll talk about. But he definitely had a rough game. Rangers kill that penalty off, though, without allowing a shot. And then the Rangers, that first period, they were sloppy with the puck pretty much the entire way through. Fox had a bad turnover. It led to a chance for Florida. Jones gets a piece, though, on it to help Igor make a stop there. And then there was another play where Fox gets beat. Thankfully, it was offsides, but it would be 1-0 for Florida as a shot from the points just tipped in by Tkachuk. And that had to be some of the most, I don't even know what word to use for that. That was terrible, the way that they played in the defensive zone on that goal there. I don't understand how Mika Zibanejad is lost in no man's land when he needs to be in front of the net protecting the slot. You have Keandre Miller chasing guys around. Roslovic is just standing there. There's just nobody covering the point at all. And it was just chaotic. That made it 1-0. But the Rangers did get a chance afterwards. Panarin tries to feed a pass across. It got blocked, though. But then the Rangers, again, got careless with the puck, and the forechecking was not even really noticeable. And my biggest issue with that first period was mostly the fact that the bottom six was really the only group of players noticeable. They did not get a lot of high quality chances at all that period. And they didn't necessarily allow a lot of quality chances, but way too much pressure, and they needed to crisp up defensively and the way that they were moving the puck up the ice and get in on the forecheck, because the fourth line was really the only ones getting in on the forecheck every shift in that first period. Third line too, but my biggest takeaway, and I tweeted it, was I was worried that the top six was invisible. And we know that this team has struggled against teams that clog the neutral zone, like the Florida Panthers, and that was my biggest worry. And thankfully, it changed a bit for one line in particular, but not so much the other. Second period rolls along, and it looked like the Rangers were just going to clock out for the game, because right off the rip, Gustafsson with a terrible turnover, and it leads to an odd man rush. Reinhart to Luostarinen, and it ends up going into the back of the net. Fox couldn't break the pass up, and after that, though, the Rangers draw a penalty. Okposo goes off for a holding, and the Rangers get a couple chances on the power play, and then they would end up scoring there. Fox opens up the ice for himself there, which was nice to see, and then he fires one on goal from the high slot, makes it a 2-1 game, and then the fourth line follows it up with a good shift. They would tie the game up at 2 as a great forecheck by the second line. I tweeted it, hallelujah, there was a forecheck there, and they force a turnover, and then that snipe by Artemi Panarin. Trocheck gives it over to him. That snipe by Artemi Panarin, beautiful. And again, he needs to be a Hart Trophy candidate. And again, I know he'll get votes, but I want to see him actually I want to see him in the top 5 at the very least. I know he's not going to win it because McKinnon, Matthews, McDavid, Kucherov, all those guys are having special years, but he's got to be up there. I cannot even believe that we're witnessing this right now, to be honest with you. I'll be straight up with you, because we all said it after that Devil series that we were worried about Artemi Panarin, and now he's been unstoppable. Obviously, the next step is going to be showing it come playoff time, because if he does not show it come playoff time, well, then we're all going to be pissed off and we're back to square one again. But for right now, he is putting on, one of the best Rangers seasons in the franchise's history. And I said one of before people jump down my throat and be like, oh, well, this season from Yager or this season and that. I get it. One of the best seasons. That's why I said that. But yeah, then the Rangers draw another penalty, and they don't really get much on that one. And then Gaudreau just takes a boneheaded penalty after that. Rangers don't really allow much on the penalty kill. And that period was just kind of weird. Not a great start for the Rangers at all. They started to improve, though, as the period went along, like the middle. And then the end, things kind of tightened up in that period, and neither team really got a lot of chances. Third period rolls along. Rangers get pretty much all the chances. Not really a lot of quality, but they get a lot of chances. And Florida went pretty much that entire period without a shot on goal. They went half of that period without a shot on goal. And the one time they did was Nico Mikkola just throwing a terrible shot on goal. And then, of course, though, towards the end, it ended up being 3-2. Kakko gives up on the play entirely. I don't know what he's doing there. You got Miller running out of position. Schneider's out of position, too. And then Carter Verhaeghe snipes it. Igor's got to have that one, too, though. 3-2. But then the Rangers respond as the second line cycles, and Panarin throws one on goal, takes a couple bounces, goes in the back of the net. I will absolutely take it. I don't care if it's a bounce. I will take it. And that third period, I don't even know what to say about it. That was just, Trocheck said it, that it was a tight played period, and I would agree. Neither team really got quality chances at all that period. But that's what I want to see the Rangers do more of. Play tight defense. Don't like the laps they had there, but you got to play tight defense. Would like for them to generate more, though. Overtime, chaotic as well. You have both goalies just, more so Bobrovsky just robbing, where he robbed Chris Kreider on that one chance. Panarin was stopped on one. Then you have Gustafsson slide into the boards there. Sam Reinhart's elbow catches him. OEL shot right in the blue paint, and Vinny Trocheck puts it under Igor's pads as Verhaeghe could have just tapped it in. That could have been game over right there. And then he stops a huge 2-on-1 chance too from Montour. That was chaotic. Chaotic. Again, if you're just a hockey fan, you love this freaking game. It had everything you could have asked for and more. The only thing that sucks is it ended in a shootout. But even the shootout had some entertaining moments because you have Mika Zibanejad do the Peter Forsberg to score. Reinhart answers. Panarin, though, would score a beautiful goal of his own. And then there was no goals the rest of the way. And the Rangers hold on and win the hockey game 4-3, putting themselves in possession of first place. So, yeah, I understand, though, because I do understand that there's going to be Panther fans that say, and I know people are going to make jokes about them not having fans now that I said that, but still, I know there's going to be people that say it, that the Panthers were not at full strength. They didn't have Barkov. They did not have Forsling, and they didn't have Ekblad. To that I say, I agree. To that I say, fair play. And that's a fair card because those are legitimate difference makers in their lineup that they were missing. But I will say on the other end, the Rangers have to do their part and capitalize and take advantage when guys are missing from the lineup. Key guys are missing from other teams' lineups, and that's what they did. So that's what's important. They capitalized on it. Granted, again, there was a lot of ugly in this game. The first line did not move the needle for me at all. Gustafsson didn't really play great, but Miller and Schneider, off night for them. Love the second line effort, though. Zach Jones, though. Can we talk about how Zach Jones, can we stop the narrative that of he can't play? And I'm one of the people that said that I didn't like Zach Jones and that I was a doubter. We need to end this narrative. The kid is playing his freaking balls off, and he's earning himself a clear spot in this playoff roster. I'm sorry if he's not on the playoff roster, if he keeps this up the rest of the way, especially, it's a disgrace. He has been unbelievable filling in for Ryan Lindgren here and Jacob Trouba. Dare I say he's played better games down the stretch here than those two have played all season long. Dare I say it? I don't know if it's crazy to say, but he has been that good. Loved Matt Rempe's game, the fourth line. Loved their game. Wenberg and Roslovic, I mentioned the first line. Didn't love Wenberg's game. That was kind of disappointing to me. That's really all I got to mention with this game, other than the fact that we need to stop the narrative too that this team, that home ice does not matter for this team. This team needs home ice. Just get home ice. That's what I want. I want them to finish top in the East. I think it's ridiculous that this is even a conversation amongst fans of, oh, well, do we want to avoid Tampa Bay? Do we want to avoid this team? First of all, if this team is truly as good as everybody is saying, should not matter who they face. That's first and foremost. Second of all, get home ice, because wouldn't you rather, well, first of all, too, the players are not going to have that mentality. The coach is not going to have that mentality that, oh, let's just tank down the stretch here to play the Philadelphia Flyers. First of all, you don't want to pick your opponent too. How many times have I said first of all and then jump to another point? I need to stop doing that. But regardless, what my point is here, one, you don't want to pick your opponent. Two, you want home ice because you want the matchups. And three, if Tampa's as good as everybody's saying, you got to face them regardless. Go get home ice and face the Tampa Bay Lightning. Slay the demon too. Because you got to beat Tampa at some point. And this is not the same Tampa Bay Lightning team that it was in years past too. Sorry, it just isn't. And I'm someone that is definitely like a guy that says don't sleep on the Lightning, but this is not the same Lightning team from a few years ago. They're not. The Toronto Maple Leafs broke their first round playoff drought against the Tampa Bay Lightning last year. And listen, as critical as I am of this Rangers team is better than that Toronto Maple Leafs team last year. Let's not kid ourselves here whatsoever. It's just more a matter of if the Rangers play their game on a consistent basis, and that's been my point the entire season, is that come playoff time, they got to be consistent and they got to be ready to go. That's really the only thing, in my opinion, that's stopping this team is themselves from getting away from their game and letting mistakes get to them mentally. It's all up here. It is all up here. That's been my point the entire season. So let's stop the narrative that this team should tank to finish second place to play the Philadelphia Flyers. Enough of that. Go get first place. Go win the President's Trophy. Because this is not, there's no such thing as a President's Trophy curse, guys. One team wins the cup every year. It's hard to do that. We don't talk about the top team being a curse in other sports. The Kansas City Chiefs were not the top team this year, won the Super Bowl. That's my point. That's my rant. And I get that some people might say, well, you prefer to play Philly. To that I say, every Ranger fan and their mother preferred the Pittsburgh Penguins in 2022. And how'd that turn out? They won the series, sure, but if Pittsburgh's not banged up, you got to question if that series goes the other way. And on top of that, the Rangers did get outplayed in a lot of games that series. Let's not pretend it was not the case there. So don't pick your opponent. You got to beat good teams if you want to win the cup at the end of the day. It's just that simple. But yeah, leave a like if you haven't, subscribe if you haven't. I'm going to get to the chat now. See what you guys have to say. Happy about the 2 points, but they definitely need to start. My gripe with this game, if I'm going to complain, is I want to see this team generate more chances still. I really, really do. And on top of that, stop coming out of the gate slow. These first periods, back-to-back games, that's got to change too. So let's see what you guys have to say, though, in the chat here. Glenn showed mad guts tonight. Bread saved us again. Usually hate shootouts, but that one was pretty nasty. That's what I said, Thomas, when I was watching the game with my brother. I'm like, sucks that this game has to end in a shootout, and it ended up being an entertaining one. This game shows why it's so important for in the playoffs against teams like this to have home ice. Yes, Luke. 1000%. Great win. When is Lavi going to move the second line to the first line? Well, it's just the name title. I don't take much stock into it, honestly. But yeah, Rempe brings energy to the team and the Garden. And that's another gripe. They got to be better with managing the puck, because there was way too many times that they struggled to break the puck out, or they were getting to play too much east-west. Get in on the forecheck. Dump the puck in. The way you beat that team, and look at how they scored their goals. If you look at how they scored that second goal in particular, chip the puck in, get on the forecheck, grind away at them, pause, and then score goals. That's what they need to do. Yeah, Gustafsson needs to be out of the lineup. He does. This is why you get your Cardiac Rangers merch, if you haven't already. Oh, we talked about Panarin, but I could talk about him all night if you guys want me to. Personally, not impressed with the performance, but I'll take the W. Defense was solid for the most part, but for the amount of possession they have in the offensive zone, don't create enough. I agree that they need to generate more chances. Which, by the way, Matt, did you post the final score on the Instagram? That graphic? Which, by the way, follow the Ranger Central Instagram if you haven't already. All right, yeah, you did. Just was checking. Yeah, I did not like Kakko's play on that goal. Yeah, I don't like that with... I don't like ESPN's graphic package, if you will. Yeah, Trocheck did have a very good game, too. On both sides of the puck. You could argue he was the player of the game. As much as I'm hyping up Panarin, Vinny Trocheck, yet again, had a very good game. And how many times are we going to talk about how he is he's underratedly one of the unsung heroes of this team, because he was not supposed to play on that top line, or that second line, I should say. He was not supposed to be in the top 6, and he has been unbelievable. And this is why my argument is that he should win the Hart. If by definition, he's by definition the MVP, most valuable player, and I get the argument that people are going to make, well, Connor McDavid, if he's not on the Oilers, they're not, Zach Hyman's not getting X amount of points, and other players are not getting certain amount of points as well. But I don't know. Like, to me, Panarin is making that much of an impact that I truly feel you could argue he's the difference between this team fighting for a wild card right now and this team being first in the entire league. That's how many games he has come up that huge for this team. Like, I don't think it's hyperbole to say that, because let's face it, I love what Vinny Trocheck's doing this year, but if he has just a passenger line mate or someone that's not shooting the puck the way Panarin does, he doesn't have as many points. Mika Zibanejad does not have as many power play points without Artemi Panarin. Kreider doesn't have as many points without Panarin. So as much as you can make that argument for other players, it's the same deal here. And I don't know. It's hard for me to see the argument that he's not by definition the MVP, because some of these other teams, especially Toronto has other guys that are very elite on that team. Like William Nylander has been on fire this season for them. And that's not to take away from where, if you did take away Matthews, then, because you could make that argument with whoever, but like they have players that are elite on their own, is my point. The Rangers, like Panarin, in terms of the forward group, I mean, because obviously Fox has been great and then Igor stepped it up. But when it comes to the forward group, Panarin is the only one in this forward group that's been playing at an elite level night in and night out. And again, not taking away from what Trocheck does on both sides of the puck, but I just mean pure dominance game takeover, where the Leafs have Nylander, the Oilers have Draisaitl, and even Hyman in his own right takes over games at times and scores some other goals. And then Colorado, that argument I could get though with Nathan MacKinnon. Like if it were up to me, if it's out of any of the guys I've listed, excluding Panarin, MacKinnon would probably be my pick. Not a perfect game, but played a good game. I agree. Have to give major credit to the second line, Panarin, even though they really didn't play that well. They came up clutch when the team needed them. Panarin now 1 point away from 100. Yep. I don't think they called the elbow because he was already down on the ice when he got hit with the elbow, but I don't know. Yeah, Kreider didn't have a good game. Brodzinski should not play next game either. Get Will Cooley back in the lineup. Like I said, Joe Shane Train, yes. Win the President's Trophy. Win it. I get that argument, Christopher, but he does have to show up come playoff time, because if this is 3 years in a row of him not showing up come playoff time, that's a bit of a concern. Yeah, Random, that's pretty much how I feel. Only team, there's other teams too. The 94 Rangers won the cup with the President's Trophy. There's some, I think I'm forgetting too. I'm pretty sure there's a couple other teams. But again, it's not a curse. Look at the teams that have won the President's Trophy recently. You have the Boston Bruins, who won that thing in February. You have teams like the Lightning too, who won it in February as well. The Rangers have gone through adversity this season. With the way that January went, it's not like they've been just coasting at the top of the league the entire year, which they very well could have been if they did not slump in January. They very well could have been just coasting at the top of the league. Then I'd feel a little worried. But look at 2015 when they grinded out for that President's Trophy and faced adversity all year. They were a healthy Zuccarello away from winning the cup, I believe. I will stand by that take, and McDonough too, of course. Yeah, we want games at MSG in the playoffs. Did you hear how loud that building was tonight? You're telling me you don't want the playoffs to run through that? And it's going to be 10 times louder come playoff time, and I hope it is. I mean, I'm going to be in the building as much as I could come playoff time, so I'll tell you right now, if I'm in the building, I'm making sure I'll be a one-man army if I have to. No, I agree with you, Philip, that there were some bounces, but that second goal he scored. Strictly as a hockey fan, this would make for an awesome 7-game playoff series. For hockey fans, probably, but my heart wouldn't be able to take it. I don't know if you're talking about like the fans putting pressure on the Panthers, but somebody made that point to me. I think it was Luke, who's always in the chat. Where's your username? I want to read it right. You commented early in the chat. Luke Superfish, he said it, that he wonders if the crowd played a part of it. Well, I mean, the Florida Panthers, like, no disrespect to some of the hardcore fans, because I do know some hardcore Panther fans through the YouTube community, but let's be honest, that atmosphere is nothing. Like, come on. Come on. That atmosphere is a joke compared to what the Garden could be come playoff time. Yeah, Goudreau's not been good. I was in the Garden for our cup run 94. The Garden is a huge difference factor for this team. We want home ice. Yeah, absolutely. I think the whole reason we traded Niels was because we had Jones being scrapped. I mean, they're different shot defensemen. I don't think that played a role. I think it was just that Niels didn't want to be in the organization. Exactly. You cannot avoid teams to win the cup. You have to win 4 tough rounds. That's what makes it so tough and the most treasured trophy in sports. Couldn't agree more, Steven. And that's why I don't buy the whole President's Trophy curse thing, because there's one team that wins it. Some teams also are just simply better in the regular season than the postseason. That's also just the nature of it. It's the nature of most sports. And especially hockey, though, that's what makes this league special, is that any team could win it. We just saw the Florida Panthers last year sneak into a wild card spot and go on a run to the finals. That's why I'm saying you cannot count out teams like Philly, even like Nashville right now. Look at how they're heating up before the postseason. You think Colorado's going to wipe the floor with them? And I think Colorado's an elite team, but I wouldn't be shocked if Nashville gives Colorado a run for their money, especially because Colorado lost to Seattle last year. I'm saying, I would not be shocked if a team like Nashville goes in hot and takes care of business against a team like the Colorado Avalanche. That might be another hot take from what I said last post game with my Boston take. You guys will see, though, when I release my bracket video, because I'm going to release a bracket video and fans aren't going to be happy. Nobody's ever happy with me. So it is what it is. Rebby showed he could be a difference maker in this game. Didn't get a point, but was physical all night. And the fourth line shift after the first goal was electric a lot because of him. I agree with you. I agree. Rempe makes a difference. Home ice matters big time. You could clearly see it. Thank you. And you don't play to lose. If this is truly the year, then it cannot matter who they play in round 1. There are no bad teams in the playoffs, so earn home ice. It is the biggest advantage you could have in all of sports. That's why I think the conversation is ridiculous. I want the playoffs run through the damn Garden. I want that. And yeah, it's coaching. The end of period adjustments have changed everything. How many times have we seen a different Ranger team after a bad period? And that's the one thing you could say is that, yeah, but like that's another reason why I argue it's so important to lock up home ice, because it gives Laviolette, the guy that was brought in to be the strategic guy, it gives him more flexibility in terms of a matchup based thing as well, on top of system adjustments. That's why it is so important. Gotta beat the best if you want to be the best. Yeah. Yeah. I won't lie that Igor's high glove has been a problem this year. I will not disagree with that. Rangers and Knicks won today. It's a rare occasion, isn't it? And yeah, it comes back to bite you if you pick what team you want. Good question. I've been asking this for a while. Yeah, I agree with you. They got to be better with that if they match up. Brez so much more lethal when he has that shoot first mentality rather than overpassing like last year at times. I agree, Justin, and you can notice it. You need a shirt? Link is in the description. If anybody wants to get a Cardiac Ranger shirt, go ahead. Oh, is the link not there? I've been plugging the Cardiac Ranger shirts without me keeping the link there. That's a bad luck for me. I thought I'd put it in the defaults there for the description. Let me do that quickly. Let me give you guys the link to the Cardiac Rangers merch if you guys want to buy it. If you don't, then you don't have to. Nobody's forcing you to. But where is it? As I try to stall, but I'm doing a terrible job at it. There it is. Ignore the link name because it's my old YouTube channel name from a long, long time ago. But there you go. Cardiac Rangers merch. Go grab it. I am also going to buy more time for myself by making an upload default because I don't want to have to do this every single time. But if you do want a Cardiac Rangers shirt or hoodie, there are hoodies as well. If you want to go out and get them, link is in the description. We got red, we got blue, white, black. Those are your options. You got options in terms of you're Jack Carl there. You're Jack Carl. You got options in terms of the shirt that you could get there. Cardiac Ranger shirts. There we go. All right, now it will be linked in every single live stream. Let's get back to the chat. You guys have been killing it. We have 300 of you in here. Jeez. Yes, leave a like if you haven't. Please leave a like. I don't think Kreider's injured. This is just who he is, unfortunately. Sorry, just scrolling through, trying to say. I didn't love Miller's game tonight, honestly. Yeah, they were hurt going in. Yeah, the crowd freaking loves Rempe. On your way home from the Garden? Well, Jason, shout out to you for making it loud because it was really freaking loud. Yeah. That crowd, I want it to be obnoxiously loud. Because I'll say this. I do not love the Philadelphia Phillies, but I absolutely am jealous of the playoff atmosphere the Philadelphia Phillies put together every single year. I get so jealous of it. I'd be lying. That's what I want it to be like. Yep, it shouldn't matter who they play. Win as many games, carry momentum going into the playoffs. Nick, what's going on? I'm doing all right myself. Nice game. Showed heart 100% about the 2014-15 season. If Zook was healthy, they had a shot at the cup. That was a special team. Girardi, I think, had a broken leg too. Yeah, I think Girardi was definitely banged up. That guy was always getting banged up. And yes, it is very easy to leave a like. Very easy. See if we get 100. Why not? Home ice is very important. Yeah. Have to be better on the boards. I agree with that. Yeah, I think the honeymoon phase is kind of ending with Brodzinski. Good question about the Rangers clinching. Let's see what the Rangers clinching number looks like after tonight. I think they just need a loss from... Okay, this win makes it that a win against the Flyers would clinch them a spot. Or if Washington, I believe, loses. I don't know exactly how this magic number stuff works, but all I know is that they need one more win themselves outside of teams losing to clinch a spot. Thank you, Dallas. I appreciate that. That means a lot. Not me, Dominic. I was one of the few that was really hyped up about Laviolette, but they don't want to give you credit when you're right. They don't want to. But I was hyped up about Laviolette and felt that he was the right hire because I felt they needed a disciplinarian. The only gripe I'll have is that you're not seeing too much of the disciplinarian stuff, but he at least knows the damn game and he knows what he's doing because like you guys were saying in the chat before, there are times this team has bad periods and they respond the next period where with Gallant hockey, if they had a bad period, game's over. They started off out the gate slow, pack it up. Tonight, they lose this game with Gerard Gallant. Boston, lose that game under Gerard Gallant. You could pack it up if they start off poorly. Yeah, Mike. 1,000%. And yeah, get home ice against Carolina too. Like, that's another thing. If, say they did tank for second, like fans want them to, they beat Philly. All right, well, you either play Tampa Bay in round 2 anyway, or you have to go on the road to play Carolina and Raleigh. No. No thanks. How do you lay your head down on your pillow at night as a Mets fan? You know, it's not easy. it's not easy at all. I'll tell you that. But listen, I, for some reason, feel good about the Mets going into next year. I, for some reason, feel good about the Mets. I don't know why. Maybe I'm drinking the Kool-Aid about the fact that it's the start of the season coming up. Maybe. I don't know. I'm kind of feeling hyped up right now for some reason. Why is it like this? Ooh. All right, I'm getting a look right now at future graphic designs that I have cooked up potentially for the future. Well, obviously, because I said the future for this channel. Graphics are going to get improved. The graphics are going to get improved in terms of the thumbnail design. Yeah, it's a 4-1 loss with Gerard Gallant at the helm. Yeah, I agree, Mike. It's ridiculous. Gensel's been like a revelation in Carolina. Yeah. I do not want to play them 4 games in Raleigh this year. And if you are a Ranger fan, you do, you're stupid. I mean, I won't call people stupid because at the end of the day, it's your take. I don't agree with it, but you're entitled to have your own take. I think it's crazy though. Well, yeah, if Quintana doesn't get it together, it's not going to go well. Boys seem to play better from behind. Huge win and happy to get the 2 points. Yeah, agree with that. All right, I am going to wrap things up here, though, because we're approaching the 45-minute mark quickly here. So don't forget to leave a like if you have not already on the post-game show. If you want Cardiac Rangers merch, I will link it in the chat again. If you want to go get it, it will be perfect come playoff time. Tweet at me if you get it. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Leave a like if you haven't already. Subscribe if you have not already. Let's try and get to 100 likes on the stream if we can. And turn on your notifications too so you know when I upload or go live next. I'll see you guys in the next one. Probably going to do a podcast episode at some point. I might. You guys will see, though. But I'll see you guys in the next one.